It's schizophrenia inducing crap. 7 generations of Gorilla Glue crossed with an RS whatever that's come from an asteroid that's from one cut that costs £1 million to get in, that my mate at the docks managed to get in. It's been grown in a warehouse, and this weed is now the finest. I don't give a
Nevski Exotics.
Yes.
Jimmy Nevski. James Nevitt.
That's the one.
Right.
You got it right. You realise that so many people don't get it right.
So, straight away from the start, you are trying to legalise weed in the UK. That's the easiest way of putting it, right?
In an ideal world, I would like to.
Yeah.
I would like to legalise weed.
Okay.
I feel that this is a good way to go about it. This is my way of going about it. So we've launched obviously a product, we'll go into it. Yes, we want to push for legalisation in the UK because I think it would be very good for the UK economy, long and short. And it's a dream of mine, it's something I'd really like to do.
So to start with, I'm just going to say that I don't endorse. If it's illegal, don't do it at the moment. What's the sort of disclaimer you have to give in
For
videos?
cannabis in general?
Yeah, like let's say you put in a YouTube video or something, because technically it's still illegal.
The following video, for myself and Rory, is for educational and entertainment purposes only. Yes. In the United Kingdom, please be aware that cannabis is still considered a Class B substance. This is being filmed in Amsterdam, the Netherlands, where there are different tolerances and different laws governing cannabis. So do with that as you will.
That was very good. Fantastic. So I'd like to, the thing is, weed is already decriminalised as for personal use in the UK anyway, basically, right? I mean, no one's getting arrested for smoking weed.
That's a very, very interesting point. So when he's saying decriminalised, that's a very interesting way where you can look at the Amsterdam side of things. It's not, people think that weed is legal in Amsterdam. It is not legal here. It is not legal in Amsterdam. The coffee shop owners have to work around loopholes, and it's very tricky here. In the UK, there is a feeling at the moment, a zeitgeist, as it were, that we have a decriminalisation in the sense that the police are not really cracking down too hard on personal use. But at the end of the day, if you're, you can't hide. You have to hide your weed in the UK. Like it's not legal. It feels like it's becoming.
You can grow a few plants, right, yourself for personal use. That's what I've heard. That's the rumor. You can have like 2 plants in your.
So there's 2 major petitions ongoing at the moment, and one of them is to allow medical patients who already have a card the ability to grow. They're not even allowed to grow, and they've already got a medical card. They can get their cannabis in the mail, and they're still not allowed to grow their own plants. So one of the petitions is we want people to be able to grow their own plants, and the other petition is the full decriminalisation of cannabis. Now, on my packages, we have a QR code to take you to that. We only put one. I suppose we could do 2 QR codes to sign both of them, but they're both on our website. We tend to send people to the decriminalised one because that, as a blanket term, I think will sort of cover everything anyway. So,
right.
Yeah.
Well, we haven't talked about your product. You keep referring to your product. We'll get to that at the end, okay? Yeah. We'll get to what you're trying to do personally, but legalization is the main goal for you. Anyway, so I feel like weed, no one's, like I said, no one's really getting arrested for it. Like it's not like Singapore, right? If you're caught with a bag of weed in Singapore, good luck to you. It's not. Britain doesn't have that sort of law. So people, if you want to access weed, you can anyway. So it's almost like a point where, like, why not decriminalize it and make some tax money off it? That's kind of the big. You're like, because you've said this before, right? It feels like, Gary's Economics.
Yeah.
You're like the Gary's Economics of cannabis. That's how I feel. Like, you think, one thing you've said before is that you think that the British economy would do really well if we legalize weed. It would almost help the British economy, right?
I think it would. I mean, it's obviously going on a track record of what's been done in other countries.
Yeah.
It goes without saying, if you introduce a product that's going to turn over billions of revenue, yes, of course, it's going to generate tax revenue. There's lots of this whole project, the legalization we're going for everything. Yes, that is one part of it that we want. That is great for the country. It's giving people their basic rights. It's something people do anyway. It's the fact that you can go to a Tesco 24 hours and go and buy vodka if you want to, and there's no law stopping you doing that other than being 18 years old. I feel it's people's basic human rights. Now, it's something that as a country we would do very well. British people grow very good cannabis as it is. We're known as a country for being a great produce-bearing country.
It's because of the good weather we have.
We've got amazing weather for it. It's true. It's true. The Queen's weather is the best weather. It's the King's weather. Sorry, she's gone now. Funny fun fact for
Rest
you.
in peace to Queen, she's still alive.
This is a true story, by the way. Someone came to me in Dubai, an old Arab man came up to me in Dubai, absolutely true story, and said, "Did you know your Queen's dead?" 2 weeks before she died.
What?
2 weeks before she died, just said, you'll find out about it in a couple of weeks. But it was maybe 10 days before she died. That was weird.
Wow.
True. That is a true story, by the way. I don't know if you just lucky guess.
That's proper stoner talk already.
That's proper stoner talk. That really happened.
I actually found out the Queen was dead when last time I was in Amsterdam. I was in a kebab shop and there was a TV with in the kebab shop.
Yeah.
And I was literally shook. I was like, it was like I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh my goodness. I was eating my kebab going, oh my. Anyway, right.
I was going off topic myself. I was just going to wrap up and say.
You have ADHD.
Yes.
Right, we'll talk about that in a bit.
Yes.
I can tell. I have ADHD as well. Okay, so if you're successful, right, so like you said about the economic, what do you think the greater impact on Britain would be if we legalized weed? Like, do you really think it would be better or worse on a whole for Britain?
Better. Okay, two things. First of all, it's as a narrative. Right now in the UK, and I'm saying this to everyone at home, I'm saying it to you, everyone, the narrative in the UK is that things need to improve or they can't improve. You go on any Facebook post, any nice story, the top comment, the one that everyone's liking, the narrative to push is the negative one. Oh, that's only like that because of that. You've only earned that money because of that. Your product's CRC or it's fake. It's the bullshit narrative or the negative narrative is the quickest one to spin. Legalising weed in the UK, first of all, would genuinely change the quality of life feel across the UK, that it would feel more free, right? It would change the quality of life feel. You would then have an industry that right now, if cannabis is illegal in the UK, it means that anybody working in that industry illegally, whether they like it or not, they're a criminal, right? So the kind of people that you're going to attract in that industry right now on the underground are going to be dodgy people, cleaning up money, dodgy way. And I'm not saying this as a blanket term because I've personally met some amazing people in the cannabis industry that are growing it under the table and going to these weed events and weed festivals across the UK where they have secret meetups and sessions and they grow amazing stuff. The problem is if you keep it illegal, you're only showing that side of the industry. It needs to be opened up so it can be regulated properly. That, as you said before, people are already buying this stuff. We want people to be able to get good quality stuff when they want it in a safe avenue for the way they want it. I don't see the negative sides of it.
Okay,
personally.
tell me about the ADHD because I personally I'm one of these people that I understand the I don't like being bracketed with that myself, but I understand that it can help people with ADHD, including yourself. Explain that. Do you believe that? Do you think that's...
One comment that you've just said is you didn't like being bracketed. Well, when I was a kid, I used to get told by my parents or by my mum or by school, don't have the fizzy drinks, you've got ADHD. Don't do this because you've got ADHD. Jimmy's got ADHD, so he's all over the place. Me personally, I have found that it's what gives me my unique drive and personality. If I'm spending hours and hours on, let's say, a video game that then becomes a passion, that then becomes a YouTube channel, that's all come because of my hyper focus that tends to come from ADHD. When it comes to cannabis and how that affects ADHD, which is probably where you want to go along the conversation, I'm with you. It completely grounds me out. It lets me focus on one avenue. It works for me, but what you have to be very careful with is it's not going to work for everyone. I know.
Yeah, that's why I said, like when I said bracketed, me and you are not the same.
Right.
Like they can say that we both have the same ADHD, but me and you are not the same.
We're two different people.
You know? Yeah, exactly. But that's what I mean. Sometimes there's this blanket term, like if you were to say like, oh, cannabis is great for people with ADHD. I don't know, dude. Not for me.
I just think it's a stupid mindset to think that because look, do you and every person you know like the same music?
No, yeah.
Do you and every person you know eat all the same food?
Okay.
Do you and every person you know fancy?
Yeah. I know, that's what I mean.
So why would you be affected the same way by substances as well?
Okay.
Everyone's built differently.
Yeah.
Do you take the same dosage of medicine as someone else twice the size of you when you go to hospital?
Well, I'm ginger. Apparently, like pain meds don't hurt me as much. So
right. Oh, okay. So there you go.
Don't work as much. So.
But the truth is, yes, cannabis should be treated responsibly.
On a person-by-person basis.
100%. And the best way to do that is to legalise it so we can carry out more tests, so we can get quality products. Because what's happening in the UK now is the younger generation and the new influencers coming up, they see this really fancy Cali American weed with these crazy flavors costing this crazy money. The weed has gone down a different avenue now, because now they're making that into its own market, and now there's an underground market pushing that shit. So let's legalize it, get back to good, organic, proper grown shit, and let's lose all this McDonald's crap that we've got flying around.
Not the schizophrenia-inducing shit.
It's schizophrenia-inducing crap. The coffee shop owners will tell you that. We went to some of the biggest coffee shops here. Went to the Green Place. They won't mind me using the name. They said that they put steroids and all shit in the American weed. Here, steroids and shit in America. You want the organic grown stuff. I know it tastes amazing, and I know it's got these wonderful terpenes, and I don't give a shit if it's 7 generations of Gorilla Glue crossed with an RS whatever that's come from an asteroid that's from one cut that costs £1 million to get in, that my mate at the docks managed to get in. It's been grown in a warehouse, and this weed is now the finest. I don't give a fuck. The guy stood behind there at the grey area for 13 years has given me stuff that every single time is a third the price and better than the shit that you get in these stupid tins. Fuck off, stop doing it. And if you care about legalising weed, stop putting stupid stickers on with pictures of Statue of Liberty and arses out and trying to make weed look like it's for 8-year-olds. Put fucking stickers on to legalise it. Do things to share medical forums and actual important shit.
I can sense you're passionate about this. Right, I'm going to check the
Turn it into a joke. Fucking joke, man. It's like McDonald's weed at the moment here. People are coming. Some of my followers as well are just like, yo, you need to go and drop 400 quid at a coffee shop Mediterranean so you can try the crab's legs. Why the fuck do I want a weed called crab's legs? Why can't I just have weed? Just weed. What happened to weed? Nice weed. This is a new Coke I'm drinking. It's called Crab Leg Coke. It's banging. It's £700. You can only get it 1 month of the year, and it stinks.
Okay, so I will play devil's advocate, like I said.
A lot of this, by the way, is for educational and entertainment.
So pretend I'm like Peter Hitchens. You know Peter Hitchens?
I thought you could say P. Diddy then.
Peter Hitchens?
Pete Hitchens, yes.
Yeah, one of his main things is he's against weed.
It's a cigarette, by the way.
I'm trying to think, if I was against weed, I'm trying to think in the UK specifically, and why. Okay, so here's one thing I would say. The British psyche, the British mind, the British phenotype doesn't deal well with moderation. We are not the moderation type, you know? We go to Spain, we get smashed because the beers are £2. It's like one of these things. So I was wondering whether the British mind could handle legal weed, because then it would be like, fucking, people would overdo it, you know? I don't know.
I think the people that go to Spain every year and get smashed are still going to be the people that go to Spain every year and get smashed. I don't think it's going to make a difference. It's just not going to. It's just not.
But I mean, what I mean is, like, if we legalise weed in the UK, like I said, British people are not good at moderation. We would have wake and bakers everywhere. That I don't know whether that would be a good thing.
You'd still have to change the laws. Look, I'm not saying that people should be smoking in the streets or in front of kids or while people are going to school. Or that's not what I'm saying. I think people are massively underestimating the differences that will happen if you legalise weed. And the truth is, there won't be many differences. You'll get, so, like, for example, let's talk about a different way we could do it that they don't do in Amsterdam. What if they implemented a system in the UK where every coffee shop had to have a double door system to stop the smell getting out to the street?
Yeah.
That means that it wouldn't smell on the actual street. You have literally like a door, hallway and a door to minimise the smell down. That's one thing you could do to cut the smell down. Because, look, at the end of the day, there's, I don't know what I'm trying to say. You go past shisha lounges, you go past stuff all the time in the UK. It's just about how it's done. I think. Oh God, burp there. Apologise. I just think that it needs to be implemented the right way. And I think if you give people the freedom to do that, you're just going to see a rise of new industries. I think that the UK would have a very different approach to it. Rather than sort of a grimy scene approach, you could have people approaching it as the grime underground scene. You could have like, canna bars, a bit like how Boren Youngans here do it. You can have the grey area approach. You can have like exotic strain selection. There's all kinds of different approaches, man. I think we could make some amazing avenues out of it, business avenues.
People are smoking anyway. Okay, but what about the back to schizophrenia, right?
Yeah.
And mental illness.
Yes.
What about the people that link schizophrenia and mental illness to cannabis? Do you ever think like, oh shit, that could be worse?
Yeah, I think that could be valid. I think the best thing to do is we should probably start testing and making sure that the weed is safe, the best way to do that is to legalise and regulate it. So that we can, for example, there are certain cannabinoids in the cannabis, right? There are certain cannabinoids that will have different effects with different receptors in the brain. Now, right now, just because Greg in his shed in Birmingham is growing some fire dank, that doesn't necessarily mean that that's going to affect all the receptors.
You have to hook me up with this Greg guy.
Yes. So what I'm saying is, there is no Greg, by the way. Oh. But what I'm saying is, if we do have the access to really grow it, run tests on it, see how that affects, and maybe do some clinical trials, we may be able to say, okay, these strains are suitable for someone who is susceptible to these ones aren't. But to cover the blanket term, I think if you are prone to schizophrenia and mental illness, I think you should probably be careful and consult people before smoking weed. Weed is not just going to cure everything. You don't just smoke weed and cure cancer. It doesn't work that way. It just doesn't work that way.
Yeah, I can see that. If you legalize it, then you can at least regulate it, and you know that, because, well, weed's a hard one, but it's like, it could be funky shit. If you create a black market, you never know what you're getting. The
thing is, anything you make illegal, you're creating a black market. Yeah. So that approach doesn't work. So instead, what you have to do is legalize it and find a way to integrate it into society. We seem to be under this impression that we can't do anything, that the UK is awful and that nothing changes and the governments won't help us. But the government is made up of people. People that get older every year, people that retire every year, people that change careers every year. It's just down to us to do something. And if you believe in the vision, and enough people believe in the vision, and enough people agree with what I'm saying, then eventually it will come to be. Yeah. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah. Okay, here's the big one then. So if you legalize weed, right, it becomes easier to access for children.
Yeah.
Yeah? Is that a trouble? I wouldn't suggest children.
Right now, do you think it's easier for children
to
access weed or alcohol now?
I think it's still easier to access alcohol.
So why is that not a problem? Why do we not hide the alcohol in every shelf? Is it that we have to treat people like responsible adults and not like morons? Or is it that every time we say something, there's always a controversial opinion? And this isn't aimed at Rory, this is the typical thing you get back every time.
I'm being devil's advocate.
Exactly. So the devil's advocate approach is, well, it's going to affect, everything can affect children right now. Right now, we're sat in a coffee shop filming about smoking weed where you can buy all the weed you want there. How many kids have run and going, can I get some weed? How many?
I don't know.
No, it doesn't happen. No. It doesn't happen. Just because you legalise weed, it doesn't mean that kids are suddenly... It's like, weed's not legal. Weed's legal. Oh, weed! Oh, I can get weed now. Oh, weed just randomly appears.
Well, it just becomes easier to access, Kids are vaping.
Here's my take. I would argue that it's not as interesting to access. Do kids tend to fuck with things in your house that are off limits or on limits all the time? Answer the damn question.
Yeah, of course.
Thank you. Now, if you tell people you cannot have or do something, people are more inclined to be, I wonder why. And then they start making all these conspiracies and all these bullshits, and then people go and end up trying it. So if people are going to try weed, they're going to try it. Kids are not desperate. Well, to be fair, kids are kind of desperate to turn 18 so they can go drinking, and that's absolutely part of our culture. Give them a second option. Let them fucking smoke some weed, and maybe less people will get punched in the fucking side of the head outside Weatherspoons on a Friday. Fuck off.
All right, you've debated this before, I see.
This is my first time doing this. It's just what is in my head all the time.
Okay. Here's another thing. Okay. The Protestant, I can't ever say that word.
Protestant?
Protestant?
Isn't that
the work mentality of Britain, like the less work, blah, blah. Weed makes you lazy and you smell bad.
If you integrate it to something you're truly passionate and believe in, you'll be successful. The other thing I earn money from is a YouTube channel where I play old school RuneScape. I get my best editing and my best content done when I'm smoking.
So you play RuneScape and get high. That's what we're worried about. We can't have lazy RuneScape players.
I would actually like to reapproach that, because I think after saying it, I don't like the laziness.
Yeah.
When it
makes you lazy.
When it comes to approaching it makes you lazy. I think that your phone makes you lazy. I think that your shower makes you lazy. I think your bed makes you lazy. I think if you in your life are not fulfilled, you will fill that void with things that are quote unquote making you lazy. I think if you, for example, are a software engineer that can work at home and you love your job and the challenges of your job, you could smoke weed all day while you crack your code and no one would know. So I think it's when people say weed makes you lazy, people are smoking weed and doing nothing with their day because the education system is broken, they have no ambition to do anything, and they are filling a void that they would be doing nothing with something else. You could argue that being lazy smoking weed is keeping people out of crime or violence or keeping them off the street. There's loads of angles. The point is, there's no correct answer. There's loads of different angles. Me personally, I do not feel it makes me lazy. I work very, very hard with everything that I do. I put 110% effort into the things that I do, and I smoke a lot of weed while I'm doing it. I don't drink. I don't smoke the vapes anymore. I was on the vape all the time. It's very hard to quit.
Why did you quit the vape?
Because have you ever gone to bed and you reach under your pillow to see where your vape is? Right, I took a step back and looked in the third person and looked like I'm being a fucking 8-year-old without a mum to take my dummy off me. Fuck that. that is super fucking addictive, and if I took that off the table now and went to throw that in the bin, you wouldn't be happy, would you? He would genuinely be miffed. And the thing is, there's very few things in the world that actually do that.
Yeah.
They are so addictive. So I felt like shit for like a week, but I just threw it away, and then I never went back.
Nice.
It's hard though, it is hard.
Well, my logic.
Do you want me to teach you how to roll a spliff and then show you how to quit the vape? I'm joking.
I'm quitting the vape when they get rid of the disposables.
My advice is quit it when you're ready.
Oh, to be honest,
you'll know.
Well, you're gonna hate this, but right. So I actually never vaped at all until I kind of picked it up this year as a way of suppressing my appetite because I'm trying to get into shape. So I'm vaping for my health.
Right. Oh, sorry.
But that's just me. Okay. So, right, let's get to what you're doing then, because you're making money right now already from legal weed, right?
Yeah.
We need to talk about this. I'm going to try and... Actually, you could probably summarize it better, but in general, you have this... a legal weed, which is completely, this is the best way of saying it. A thing that it's legal to buy, but when you burn it, then it becomes the THC inducing weed thing. But for now, it's,
He's nailed it. So,
right, okay.
So you can buy seeds right now in the UK, weed seeds, and it's legal because the seed itself is legal, but the action of growing a seed is illegal, or harbouring cannabis is illegal. There are a number of rules that stop weed being legal in the UK. The main one being the 1971 Misuse of Drugs Act. It classifies cannabis as a Class B substance. We looked into basically, in a nutshell, just to cut the ADHD and try and keep on track, weed is illegal in the UK, but since medical cannabis has been legal since 2018, there are some certain changes to certain policies, and basically, if a product has got less than 0.2% THC, which is basically nothing, if it's not got any plant material in it, if it's not got any leaves or flower, lots of different things, if it's not marketed for human consumption, if it's not out of the Home Office license, because there's so many things to work around, but basically we created a product that is a brand new process that's being done in America. It's such a new process that quote unquote experts who have seen my product, who have their own YouTube channels and review products, they actually don't know what this is because it's so new. It's a CO2 supercritical extract. So what you're basically doing is you're extracting the cannabinoids and the terpenes, which is the flavour, and all the THCA, and I'll explain that in a minute, using carbon dioxide instead of like butanes and different strippers. So you're using CO2. When it's put under pressure, it assumes what's called a supercritical state, like a liquid state. It's like rocket fuel. It's cool. Right. You basically put that into a bag with your cannabis, and under pressure, you can control the extraction process to get the terpenes, the THCA, everything out of the cannabis, but you're leaving behind no solvents, no residue, no plant material, so that when it goes under HPLC testing, it will test as having 0 THC in it. Now, how do we get this done? Before THC is THC, it assumes what's called an acid pre-state, and this is where our amazing loophole is. acid pre-state of THCA is currently classified as non-psychoactive in the UK. So the blanket 2016 Psychoactive Substances Act does not apply to THCA because it already has a classification. You couple that with the fact that we use special material that is temperature controlled and extracted in a certain way that it contains no THC until you heat it up. So basically, you can buy my product off my website, overnight delivery, totally legal. You can buy a Puffco device, they sell them over there actually. You can buy a Puffco device or one of these concentrate vaporizers from Amazon, and then legally you cannot smoke it.
Yes, you can't smoke it. And you
Not
do
allowed
not
to.
advise anyone to
I don't
smoke
advise you do. I don't advise you do that. It's definitely not better than everything on the medical market by a considerable margin.
Nice. Interesting.
You're not allowed to smoke it, genuinely. You are allowed to buy my product. It will get to your door 24 hours delivery, except weekends and obviously postage times and whatnot.
I have not tested your product yet, so I cannot...
You're not allowed to. What, you mean you want to smell it, look at it, bookmark?
I have not purchased it or looked at it yet, so I don't know...
Sure.
I can't promote it, if it were.
Well, you know what? I don't even want to be here to promote. I think, do you know what's mad? It sells itself because of what it is. And
yeah. You're more or less just promoting more the idea of legalization.
I am feeling that we're on the verge of a change, and I'm not just talking about the cannabis. I'm talking about everything. Yeah. I think the UK needs to work towards a stronger leisure and tourism industry. We need to work towards like a 4-day working week. We need to start incorporating AI and super intelligence into our community. This sounds like crazy stuff, I know, but if we can explore different avenues of creating revenue, change our ways of thinking, we can pave the way forward for some. I can feel a change. We've got amazing new music coming out, amazing new artists coming from the UK. We've always been the forefront of fashion, of music, of design. I can see it coming back slowly. And even, I really mean this, I'm not just saying this because he's put me on the show. It's such a unique, fucking weird as fuck thing that you're doing. He goes and interviews men that make rat testicle bags and draws pictures of it. Look, and it's just showing that creativity and just having a fucking break from the world is what people really need right now. So can we all just agree that maybe legalizing weed is not the worst thing we could do for this country? With all the crap going on right now, maybe we could just put a smile on some people's faces if we do this.
People assume I'm a stoner, but I'm not a stoner.
He's not. He was actually saying to me, like, yeah, you've got to be careful if you've got the tolerance, so you don't want to bash him, not past him anything.
If I, not that I ever have, but if I was to smoke weed, I basically mong out. That's why I thought I cannot do that. Anyway, because I would just be like this, staring into the distance going, yeah.
Well, if you were hypothetically going to smoke weed, hypothetically today, hypothetically with me, I would, for example, take you to a very different type of place, which isn't a coffee shop. It'd be more like a restaurant vibe that you're allowed to smoke in. I would suggest getting a nice milkshake, getting a different type of strain and rolling it in a different way for you, and not necessarily smoking the big doinkers that we smoke.
Like a lassi. You know what a lassi? Have you been to India?
I've not been to India.
Oh,
my dad is in. Hello, Dad. He's in India. I'm sorry if you shit
yourself. Oh, you should have one of these lassi. They I forgot what they're called. They're just like milkshake weed drinks. All right, cool. What's it called again? This is the grey area. The grey area.
This is legitimately.
We are filming in the grey area.
It's one of the. I'm just. You're gonna have to. You'll laugh at this, but I'm not showing this on camera. You can actually fuck it, show it on camera. I'm really skinny, and I just get cold. I just get cold. So I bought thermals today. I've got thermals. It's like having an extra layer of blubber underneath, and I'm still skinny.
Are you skinny because you smoke weed?
No, I've been skinny my whole life, and I've started gaining weight recently. I quit drinking about 6 months ago. I was drinking loads and was just unhappy. Not a sob story, by the way. I'm perfectly fucking fine. I'm just saying, I was drinking a lot. I was really unhappy. That my cameraman behind me, who's helping me in the business now, is someone that helped me come out of it and was coming and checking on me every day. Like, I was not in a good place when I was a few years ago. I just wasn't in a good place. The weed now has actually helped me get my appetite back to 3 meals a day, genuinely. Had breakfast and everything
It'll
before.
do that.
Yeah. So it's helped me get my appetite back. People that have been watching my channel have seen me over the past, I would say 6 months, maybe get a bit of my colour and weight back to my face because I stopped the drinking and the vaping, and it just cut my appetite into with like withdrawal mode, and it was just weird. Now it's starting to come back a bit, but again, going back to what we said about everyone's different, I think we probably can cut some people's appetites and stuff. So
maybe this is a good time. I have to quickly plug my sponsor.
Oh yes.
Well.
Wait, can I do my sponsor voice? I do a really good radio show. Can I do it?
Yeah.
Right,
do it into the camera.
I don't know anything about this, so I'm going to do... I don't know anything about this, so I'm going to try and do a full-on...
Into the camera, this
I will. But
you moved across. You got to be in the
All right, I'm going to do a full-on thing of this. I don't even know what the fuck... Oh, right, I think I know what this is. I think I know what this is. Right, I've never seen this, Rory. I'm not lying. Okay, I'm not lying when I say you've not told me to do any of this, have you?
No.
Okay. Hello and welcome to the Grey Area Live, where I'm sponsored by Tenga. This is the ultimate in male masturbation experience. The Tenga red thing goes onto the male appendage with the easiest of insertion techniques. The simple... what? Is this actually a fucking masturbator?
It is.
It is. It's a masturbator.
And it's Japanese, so you know they don't fuck around when it comes to masturbation.
The Japanese have such a problem with their culture that this is really the way to go. So it's going to be fire. Can I have this?
Do you think Japan needs to smoke weed?
I'm joking. Does Japan need to smoke weed? Fuck no. If they started smoking weed, have you got any idea what their cartoons are going to look like if they start smoking weed? Are you fucking mad? If the Japanese start smoking weed, they're already... I'm plugging this. What is this? This is like some proper high-end thing.
Yeah, it's Tenga. 15% off if you use discount code Rory Paints. That's 15%
Original
off if you use
vacuum cup. Is this meant to make your willy bigger? Or is it a masturbator?
It's not. No, it's a adult product. Yeah, it's a
wank tool.
It's a wank tool.
It's a wank tool,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Sick.
Yeah.
Can I have this?
Yeah, sure.
I don't want it.
If you want it, you can have it.
Okay.
Yeah. Imagine smoking weed and using one of these.
How did you get sponsored by that? I want to be... I mean, to be fair, I've got my own company, but I want to get sponsored by Masturbator.
A long story, but...
Can we call it the Nevsturbator?
Basically, it's very difficult for me to get sponsors because...
Dude, you could call that a Nevstractor and put my face on it. It'd be the creepiest thing ever, but do you know what I mean?
I asked them if I can paint them.
Yeah.
They said, do not paint them. They don't want them defaced.
They don't want Erling Harding's face
I
on
thought
the
that would be
Masturbator.
genius, but they're all about this being when they advertise Tenga, they never put like sexual stuff with their advertising. They want it to be almost like it's a thing that's not...
Do you know what's really weird? I kind of get it, but... So that is just a wank tool.
Yeah. But it's really good. Once you use one of these, you'll never look at your right hand the same.
Oh, the people after this video are going to be like, what conversations happened after that?
I told you, it's proper stoner talk.
Oh, it's got Erling Harding on his phone as well. Oh, wait, is it?
That's a Son Heung-min. Okay, so back to the...
Say that one more time.
Son Heung-min? Okay, my Korean, I went to South Korea, I tried...
I don't know why I made him say it again. Like,
I was
going to fact check him.
While we're talking about stoner talk, let's go full-on stoner talk. Because I always ask people the same questions. Some people hate it, but I think it's interesting.
Cool.
To me, what do you think the meaning of life is? Is he still running, by the way?
I'm starting to think that everything runs on wavelengths and that life is all about finding a balance. Everything in life works as a balance. I don't know what the meaning of life is. I think the point of life is to try and work out that meaning of life, or at least to try and experience life in the most meaningful way while you've got it. But I find, for me, looking for connections and patterns between things, looking for things where the universe is going to steer you in a certain direction, and trying to think outside the box where we live in this 3D space, we live in our physical world and our physical realm. When we think, the thoughts governed in our head. Where that space is, I think, is the other side of everything. I don't really know what the meaning of life is, but I am definitely here to enjoy every moment of it and find out. It's like manifesting.
Is it annoying that you might die and not know what the meaning of life is? Actually, do you believe in God?
I don't really know. The thing is, if there was a God, I don't think the idea of me being able to comprehend him would even be a question. In the same way that if you're playing a roller coaster tycoon game or The Sims, your Sims never look up at the camera. They'll never have a speech bubble above their head going, I wonder what the gameplay is thinking. So the fact that we sit here going, is there a God? I don't know. I think it's amazing that we're even able to ask that question.
So the same thing would be like if I was to ask you like what happens when we die, you just don't know.
What happened before you were born? You know what's a really interesting one that my girlfriend said? My girlfriend's a freaky genius, by the way. Mel couldn't be here today because she's helping run the business back home, but she is the other side to all of this. It wouldn't exist without her. What was your initial question before I spoke about Mel?
What happens when we die?
Well, Mel said that, isn't it weird thinking about your kids that aren't born yet and the fact that they're going to have whole fleshed out lives? And they have a whole consciousness. You know, in your head right now, you're thinking, your future kid is going to have that voice in their head, and that head doesn't physically fucking exist yet.
I think, I forgot who said that when they seen a picture of their family before they were born, and because they were worried about death. And then they realized, oh wait, I wasn't alive in this picture. Like I didn't exist in this picture.
It's the same sort of thing. I think that consciousness itself is, no one really knows what all the answers of everything are, but if we're like receptors and we just pick up signals, and while we're alive and our cells just allow us to flow that energy state through, then when we die, that energy state goes back to boing, just goes back to the frequency that it was on. We just don't know. Unfortunately, no one's died, come back and been like, hey, I've totally brought a T-shirt with me to show you, like, this is what happens.
I do like it when I meet people that are really clear on what they think the meaning of life is and what happens when we die. They like, oh, this is what happens when we die. This is what I believe in God. This is like, I like it because it's like, oh, they have this answer, but honestly, it's difficult.
I think that the universe is just the universe experiencing itself. Like the idea of consciousness is infinite and consciousness is paradoxical at the same time. I think that if you try and close your eyes and imagine nothing, imagine a white void of nothing. Now imagine that nothing realizing that it's nothing. Now imagine that nothing realizing it's nothing while being looked at by another nothing. And then when you start to do that, you start to realize that it's oscillation, it's infinite, it's everything. So what happens after you die, I don't know. I think that whatever that is, it just is.
Yeah, this is some existential stoner talk.
That doesn't mean that this isn't like this is a meaningless reality, because I think that if you envision something strong enough and other people believe in your vision, it can become a reality, not just because the collective work is there, but because the collective mind is there. If it fits the status quo, then you can do amazing things, maybe. I knew we were going to meet. I saw your painting things.
You manifest it.
Yeah. I said to my girlfriend in bed ages ago when watching your painting things, I'd like to get on something like that. I've also said that I'd like to just speak to and meet lots of different people.
Yeah.
Even people that are controversial, or people, I'd like to meet Piers Morgan and Andrew Tate and just sit and have proper chats with them. And I will meet them.
Right.
Yeah.
Why Andrew Tate?
Why not? Everyone's saying, to be honest, it sounds like he's the anti-me. It'd be very interesting to see.
Yeah, true.
Do you know what I mean?
I would say he would be against what you're promoting potentially.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Well, I'm not an 11-year-old boy, so he's not going to appeal to me, is he? The nicest possible way.
Sweet.
Maybe don't put that in. Don't put that in. I actually do want to meet this fucker one day. I'll say it to his face when I meet him.
Yeah, okay.
You trust me?
You want me to delete that bit?
Yeah, but
you have to remember everything that you want deleted. I will delete. That was funny though. That was funny though.
I know.
Oh, that's a shame. Okay.
The thing is, I want to make an impact. So I've got to be very careful who I annoy. I want to do. No. A lot of it is just jokes, man. A lot of it's jokes. But there's a lot of cool people I want to meet.
Yeah, same. This is why I love this, by the way.
Yeah.
This is, people think like, this interview thing, I get to meet people that, like, I realized, I've got this platform, I can just meet people.
It's pretty cool.
I like Afghan Dan. I couldn't believe it. He just got out of prison. I was like, I'm going to ask if I can meet him. And he was just like, yeah. And I went and met him. And he was literally in this halfway house. I was like, flip out, this is Afghan Dan. Little things like that. Oh, Eddie Hall, when I met him, I couldn't believe it.
You met Eddie Hall?
Yeah,
He seems like the nicest bloke.
He's a top bloke. There was a bit of a weird thing, but he's a top bloke.
Do you know what it is? I can almost picture Eddie Hall's mindset. So I think there's only like 12 personality types, seriously.
Well,
Eddie Hall, I can almost, he's a bit like, yeah. That's kind of, but I'm so with him.
Okay, here's something I'll tell you anyway. Basically, when I arrived, we were chatting for ages, and then towards the end of the interview, afterwards the interview, he was asking me questions about like, oh, do you have a girlfriend? Would you, the OnlyFans people that you talk to, all this? And I was like, these are weird questions. And I was like, oh, he's just trying to work out if I'm gay. He wasn't sure if I was gay. So he was just trying to... So I realized it's not that he's against gay people or anything, but I could tell that he thought I was gay and was asking me these probing questions. I was like, oh...
My current girlfriend thought I was gay for like at least a month into meeting me. She absolutely thought I was gay.
Oh, that's funny.
Which is jokes.
Okay, another thing you've said, towards the end now, we've covered everything, right? You want to become Prime Minister.
Oh, well.
Well, you've said you do.
Well.
And I love that your manifesto would be legalize weed, you know? That would be it. Is that camera rolling? Sorry, quickly. That's the one I'm worried about.
Right, okay. One thing at a time. Okay, I didn't grow up thinking I want to be the Prime Minister. I've got no intention to be the Prime Minister. I don't even know if I'd make a good Prime Minister. For some reason, a lot of people around me think that I would make a very good Prime Minister.
You're good at debating.
I now am starting to think that maybe, I'm going to say this. If Andrew Tate can run for Prime Minister, which I think he's trying to do, I will stop him. Okay? That's all I'm going to say. And I do have some...
If
really
Kanye West can run for
ideas.
president, if Donald Trump can become president, anyone can become Prime Minister.
I don't even want to be the Prime Minister, but the more I think about it, the more I think that I might genuinely be able to do some good. But I really wouldn't fucking enjoy it. But
I actually think
I have some ideas.
I think the British system is rigged. Can
I tell you some ideas that I have?
Go on.
You're speaking about it really quick.
Boom, boom, boom.
Do you think that we should tax the rich?
Oh, so this is the Gary's economics thing, right?
I'm not going to go into the whole thing.
Can I
tell you what I think before you say anything, so I don't want to influence my decision. I don't think taxing the rich will do fucking anything. I think you're moving water around glasses. This is what you need to do. Yes. You cut all taxes completely. You stop everyone paying tax. You legalise cannabis. Here's what you do. You allow businesses to pay whatever tax. You allow businesses to pay whatever tax they want, and businesses now get graded on what's called a union star system. If a business pays, let's say, 40 or 50% tax, all the employees for that business get free housing benefits, electricity, or they get free mobile phone contracts or free parking in the city. We need to give incentivization programs rather than penalizing people. And right now, the people sat at home saying, oh, we need to tax the rich. If you just tax billionaires, you personally are not going to earn more money. The world has moved on. Avenues of earning money have moved on. We need to have a scaling minimum wage. If a business earns more money, the staff get paid more money. Very, very simple. I have fleshed this out on a whole thing I'm trying to dumb it down. A scaling minimum wage. A more busy Tesco turns over more money in the centre of London than one in Manchester. The Tesco franchise owner has a percentage allocation to the staff for how much wages he has to pay. You'd have to be more selective on who you hire. Jobs would pay higher wages. The cost of living gap would start to be shrunk. It's not about moving money around. It's a new critical way of thinking and working in a way that's going to work with the modern way of thinking. We need to have a scaling wage system. We need to change the tax brackets. We need to make sure that we start doing incentivization programs rather than penalizing, and work towards a leisure and tourism industry that the UK would genuinely be fantastic for. I'm talking theme park renovations, I'm talking coffee shops, high street restaurants, all the stuff that we say is going downhill. People are ready to spend money. I go out to Radcliffe and Rochdale and Bury and Manchester, and people are ready to spend money and put money into the economy, but the general narrative is that it's not good. We need to show that impossible things are possible, that this country doesn't have to be shit.
I agree somewhat.
It's not going to be easy, and you'd need a lot of help.
I think taxing the rich won't work.
Taxing the rich is not going to work.
No.
Taxing the rich isn't going to work.
It just gives the government more power. And I don't know about you, but I do not trust the government to give that money to the poor.
I don't know. Right, this is another thing. My dad told me this, and my dad's one of the best people I know. I can choose to do what I do with my money. If I want to pay less of a bracket and do dividends and be clear about where I put my money, then maybe I can help in ways that I want to.
Okay, which leads me to the painting. This does actually perfectly.
Sorry.
You want to see the painting?
I genuinely do get passionate.
No,
about
I can tell.
There's a negativity over everything in the world, and I think it needs to fuck off.
I'm on the same I'm on the same wavelength as you with that. Anyway, the painting. So we did the painting before because of the situation.
Yes, the magic of...
I can't paint in this sort of circumstance, but...
I'm so excited. I have not seen this, by the way.
So, I'm going to show you first.
Ooh.
Wait, is it sick?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Ah, that's the sickest thing I've ever seen. Wait, that, by the way, he sent me a picture he said is a reference photo. He sent me a picture he said was a ref. That's the sickest thing I've ever seen. He sent me a picture that he says was a reference photo, and it's not. It wasn't that. So that's really awesome. Thank you. That's cool.
Yeah. So you get the point. It's you as the Prime Minister with weed all around.
But we didn't discuss Prime Minister stuff though. So I don't know where you've got that from, because I know like this is like a Nardwar. I know the Prime Minister stuff is something that maybe I am passionate about, but I swear to you, we've not spoken about this. Like, so we've obviously watched stuff for.
So there you go. I think that would be nice, because sometimes I'll do a goofy one, but I thought this one was something you would frame. You know what I mean?
used to wear something just like that when I was doing real estate, and you've carried it into the colours of the flag.
So that's for you.
This is one of the best things next to the drawing of Muhammad Ali my girlfriend gave me, which I have to say because I'm on camera. This is a very good close second.
There we go. And then that's everything, I guess.